The three people you should associate yourself with in America if you want to go far.
In America. Keywords, in America. If you want to go far in America, how come I can't go to Nigeria and look for a Nigerian if I wanted to go far in Nigeria? No, because they're coming out here to America. Mind you, a country that's already been developed. They weren't part of laying the foundation. They weren't part of the heavy lifting. Anywhere from the civil rights movement all the way to actually building the infrastructure in this country. They didn't make those sacrifices. They came to a country that was already developed. You as a black American can't go to Jamaica and go far, even if you know Jamaicans. You can't eat off Jamaica because the Chinese is eating off Jamaica. You as a black American can't go to Nigeria and go far, even if you knew Nigerians. Because Nigerians can't eat off Nigeria. That's why they coming out here and other places that's Western. And we don't even want to talk about Hades. So like I said, if I didn't say it, black Americans paved the way for all these black immigrants and black people throughout the diaspora to eat in America. They come here to feast off black American sacrifice, to feast off black American labor, to feast off black American fruits without even putting in work themselves. This country was developed when they got here, and they not part of the foundation or laying any of the foundation or sacrifices. So once again, keywords, in America. If you want to go far in America.
You have your passport. Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America.
And a lot of Africans got to understand that the reason why you're here and the reason why you're kind of like doing well is because of off the backs of African Americans. Do not get it twisted. The American culture is built by African Americans, plain and simple. Every music genre, I don't give a fuck. Everything that's cool of America is built on black people's backs. All the universities from Harvard were built by slaves. That's real shit. Everything, music, food, all of that. And you come in and it seems like every race of people, when they come to America, they've been going through hell. They come and they shit on black people. Irish people will say, you know, we're the blacks of Europe. We're the fucking niggers of Europe. Yeah, but you come here and you call us niggers. You came from some hell, but now that you got your rights, black people ain't shit. Italians, have you seen the Italians, the Ken Burns, Italian Americans? Have you seen that documentary? The Italians look like Indians, they were so dark. They got treated like shit, sent to the ghettos. They get their little shit. We ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. Boom. The Vietnamese come in. The Chinese come in. The fucking Russian people come in. The Polish, and everybody's shitting on black folk. It's like we, and Rick, Freeway Rick Ross was right. We accept everybody, but everybody shits on us or takes what they want from us, whether it's economically, whether it's sexually, athletically, entertainment, and fuck us all the time, and we take it. Now there's a point where it becomes our fault. And Rick Ross, he was right. He goes, we need to start taking our own shit, being careful with our own money. And J. Edgar Hoover said, the biggest threat to America is Negro unity. They show the worst part of Africa so that it can detour African Americans and keep that fucking friction going.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right?
And I'm West African, Nigerian, but I was born in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. My father went to school there. I have video on my Instagram. Comedian Godfrey, by the way. But it's the truth. Because if you ever remember the movie Sugar Hill.
Yep.
And there's a scene where they're doing the thing with the drug dealer, and the guy said, we can't work with akata. We can't work with akata. That's a word that they were calling the American blacks, akata, the Nigerians. Akata is a word that they use for American blacks. And Wesley Snipes was like, yo, what is this akata shit you keep calling us? And the guy goes, we don't want to work with cotton pickers. And then Wesley beats the shit out of them. But it's the truth. So African Americans and Africans have always had friction. You know what I'm saying? But Africans, and I know some Africans are gonna probably be like, I don't like what you, man, whatever.
People were upset over this clip. This clip started to go viral on Twitter.
Why are they getting upset at that? First of all, it's the truth. Africans come to America, and there's a lot of my African American friends say, man, a lot of Africans are really mean towards us. They're really nasty towards us because they feel they're better towards us. And I think it's the wrong attitude to take because I'm West African, but I was born here. My friends are African American and African. I think it's fucked up because here's the thing. Africa, like whether you say Nigerians or Ethiopians, whatever, we were colonized by Europeans, man. We were colonized. We were treated like shit. Look at South Africa. With all the Dutch, they've shit on South Africans, man. And finally, I think South Africans, with the help of Julius Malema and all these, they're trying to take some of their shit back. Dutch people are fucked up towards fucking black Africans. And the fact that a South African, a white South African calls himself African, to me is fucking ridiculous. Like, you're Dutch, you just didn't leave. How the fuck do you steal African from somebody? How do you go, listen, if I was born in China, Vlad, and I said I'm Chinese, I've lived there my whole life, would you believe me? Would you believe that I was Chinese if I said, listen, and I even have the accent, listen, I'm Chinese, I promise, I've been there all my life. Would you believe me?
Yes, I would.
You would say, I'm Chinese. You would believe I was Chinese. You wouldn't say, hey, you're a black dude. You just happen to be in China.
You could be third generation Chinese.
No, I was like, no, what if I lived there all my life, I'm Chinese. I go, ni hao, and I speak Taola.
I mean, you consider yourself American?
But what you would believe I was Chinese, though?
Well, I believe you're American.
Would you say I'm black first? Would you look at me as a black man first? I was like, if
you never open your mouth, first I would
if I didn't open my mouth and I'm sitting here like this,
I would first see you as a black person.
You would say there's a black guy.
And then you would open your mouth and I
go, you wouldn't believe that shit. You'd be like, there's
Chinese black guy.
There's a black dude doing some Chinese shit. I don't know what the fuck that was. But it's like when white South Africans, that's not even real. You're not even genetically an African. The fuck? You don't even live amongst the black ones. It's that same mentality that Africans have when they come to, and I've had relatives, man, I'm not gonna name them. I've had relatives go, oh, we're better than African Americans. I go, no, we're not. Because I was just stopped by the police the other day. And I'm gonna tell you, I used to try to use that African accent. You know what I mean? When police stop me, I say, I'm sorry, officer, what is the problem? I am not the same as them. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not gonna act like, of course there's a slight cultural difference when you're African because you know what it is? In Africa, usually they'll show African Americans in a certain light. So Africans will have...
Check this out, y'all. This is how Africans and Caribbeans capitalize off Black American holidays.
Celebration of Juneteenth, we have just launched a really special African Net Sponge bundle. This one we're calling Sankofa. It's a very special bundle, and we're launching it in celebration of Juneteenth to honor our heritage and celebrate who we are.
This is not about honoring or celebrating Juneteenth. This is strictly the money, dollars. She about to make a couple of thousand off these products. As a Black American, if you're a Black American, I would not support this at all. Because if you turned around and did some type of Ghana day, one of their celebrations, I'm not even familiar with what they celebrate. Because it's not known like that. They could make money and get away with it because Black American holidays are known. Right? But back to my point, no one, you wouldn't be able to make money because no one from Ghana, no Ghana people will buy the product from you because they'll just look at it like you're marketing and capitalizing off their culture. This is like cultural appropriation to its fullest.
Black people are not indigenous to this land, so if you say that you don't care about Black immigrant struggle, that means you don't care about your own struggle. Who said that? If you're like me, the descendant of slaves, you might call yourself FBA, you are an immigrant. We are immigrants. Black people are immigrants in this country because we are not indigenous to this land. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it.
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail. Period.
When I say literacy and comprehension are at an all-time low in America and it's a severe crisis, it's videos like this that prove to me that it's true. There's a single definition of what it means to be an immigrant in any nation, And by all definitions, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, original descendants of slaves, descendants of those who were trafficked to America, could never and are never immigrants in this country. The current iteration of America, which is the only iteration of America, did not exist before Europeans came here and created a settler colony. America is a settler colony which trafficked individuals from Africa, brought them here, also killed off the original inhabitants and created a new nation. Those who were trafficked did not have a choice when they came to this nation. They were forcibly brought here, ergo making this their new home over the last half of millennia. America has been a nation that has become one of the richest nations in the world off the backs of these people that were trafficked here and who had no choice but to work for free. No one decided to come here on their own volition. The definition of an immigrant is someone who comes to live in a foreign country by their own volition, by their choice. America wasn't even a nation state of America when the settler colony of America was founded and was stolen from the indigenous people. For your definition of your understanding of what it means to be an immigrant is not only wrong, it's adding to the confusion of the already overcomplicated identity of what it means to be American from different places in the world. But if there's one thing for certain and two things for true, African Americans, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, those who are descendants of slaves in this country, could never be immigrants in their own country.
Black Americans built
She was
the
absolutely
U.S.A.
correct. If you look on a timeline, the history of the United States is still fairly brief, and slavery was abolished a mere 155 years ago. It wasn't just the White House that was built using slave labor, by the way. The building that serves as our country's political center, the United States Capitol, was built and rebuilt using slave labor after its sacking in the War of 1812. Although most northern states had abolished slavery by 1804, it's had its fair share of symbols erected using slave labor. If you're familiar with the Trinity Church in New York's financial district, you may not know that the clergy rented enslaved people to build its iconic spires, as well as the wall that used to snake down what we now know as Wall Street. Many of our forefathers were enslavers. Thomas Jefferson's entire property in Charlottesville, Virginia, Monticello, was built and run by enslaved people. Enslaved people also helped build our intellectual centers. Georgetown University, one of the country's oldest colleges, built most of its campuses after the sale of 272 enslaved people in the 1830s. Many schools with storied histories were built in part by enslaved people, including Harvard University's Law School and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. That school's campus was maintained by slave labor until its abolishment in 1865. Poor record-keeping and indifference by early historians makes it nearly impossible to know every contribution made to these buildings, but there's no doubt about how they got built.
Black history is pretty much, which is a shame, Black history, real African American history, is pretty much about white oppression. I'm sorry, but it's pretty much about making things happen during white oppression, during slavery, during Reconstruction, during Jim Crow, during, the crack epidemic, all that shit. All the stuff that's been purposely done to African Americans. Your name being taken from you, your separation of family, murdering of Black women, right? Slaughtering of Black women, performing gynecological procedures on Black women with no anesthesia. They have a statue in New York of the fucking guy. He's the father of gynecology. They need to take that shit down. Okay? So how are we going to teach it? That's what they literally said. No, just tell it. Just tell it. Anyway, but what was I saying? You know me. What was I saying?
Go through hell, but everybody copies African Americans.
Right.
Everybody does. I've been to a lot of countries. You've been to a lot of countries. I've been to a lot.
I've been to a lot of countries.
You haven't been to a lot of countries? You're so Southern.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll go.
I've been to a lot of states.
A lot of states. God damn. I go fishing over there. Yeah. So damn. And out here, my RV.
Yeah.
Like my grandma said, man, if you ain't got nothing to do, stay where you at.
but listen, I'm saying Africa. When I've been to China, I actually performed. I was the first American to perform in Russia in 2018 in Moscow. And black shit is everywhere. Hip hop. There's Russian hip hop. I was in Lithuania. Went to a Lithuanian hip hop club. I was the only black dude there, and they were all grabbing their dicks, and I'm like this. Hi guys, hello. Hi, that's our culture. Yeah. China, everywhere is hip hop. When I was in Japan, when I was in Korea, black people are copied. All that K-pop is just nothing but fucking a new edition. It's all black shit everywhere. African American, I think the African American culture is the strongest culture on the planet. Period. Because even Africans are going, yo, nigga, man, fuck all that shit, nigga. Really? You sound stupid, man. This nigga got a lot of nerve, man. I was just saying, though, man, nigga. Shut up. The fuck out of here. Michael Blackson does it, but he's fucking around. Right. But there's people doing it. I see they got these, reality shows, these African like reality shows. And she's like, shit, that bitch, I know that bitch not talking to me like that. Really? What?
They got Real Housewives of Africa.
They got shit like that now. Nigeria got Nollywood and all that. Hell, it's the third largest movie. But they're acting like they're taking from African American shit. Right. You know, a lot of them are taking it. Some people may not agree, but it's facts. And it's like, why are you shitting on Africa? And every African is not shitting on African American. That's bullshit. Right. But it's like, it doesn't make sense. Right. Because African Americans are, I mean, Africans are creative too, of course. Right. But African American, that culture is the coolest shit on the planet. Keep it 100. Hip hop, you know, just everything. Just damn, jazz, blues, everything you create. African Americans created all of American music. It's all black. Like, even country music, even though they complaining, like John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard. What are you, fucking still Bo Duke, motherfucker? What's wrong with you? He goes, what is it? Beyonce, boy, it's just like a dog pissing on everything. Shut up. It's black. Yeah. Country music is ours. It's black. I'm claiming it. And you're gonna say, oh, good, you just come to the Shut up. you still white people take from old black men and black women and make it and then say, you stay out of goddamn. Look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How the fuck you gonna have a Hall of Fame and we gotta wait to get inducted from the music the black people created? And you got a whole white fucking, well, we don't know. What? Have you been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Elvis's shit goes from here to the bottom. James Brown got, That's a measurement in James Brown talk. He got a little fucking, he got an exhibit this big. It's literally, Wow. That's it. This exhibit is that big. Chuck Berry. But Elvis goes, all the way down the hall. All the way down the hall. Fucking, fuck out.
You just don't like black people. Plain and motherfucking simple. You do not like black people. It is very obvious. For hundreds of years, we've been the most hated. The most hated. But within that hatred comes the hypocrisy of loving our culture. You've made trillions off of our motherfucking culture. You know that. You've made money off our culture. Let's be real. 100%. You've made money off our culture. White musicians, all of them have made money off of black fucking culture. All of rock, all of jazz, motherfuckers, all the shit we created from the oppression, which is fucked up in itself. The oppression and the fucking abuse and the rape and the putting down of us, we create blues, jazz, rock and roll, reggae, ska. We invent all of that shit. And to top it off, we invent all the modern shit that you all use. From the video game cartridge, Henry Lawson, We got the pacemaker, Otis Boynton. We have the late Dr. Bath, who created the laser eye surgery. We have Dr. Gladys, who's still alive, who's almost 80 years old, who created GPS. We have the guy who created the algorithm for Instagram, who's a 21-year-old Ghanaian kid. We've done all this shit. Then the internet was discovered by a Nigerian guy in the 80s. Like, we've done all of this innovation, even though we've been shit on and continue to be shit on every motherfucking day, right? Because nobody wants us to live anywhere. Nobody wants us to have this unless we're playing sports for them. Like I said, unless we're academically, right? No, I'm sorry, athletically or sexually satisfying motherfuckers. That's all black people are good for. We're supposed to be at people's beck and fucking call when they want us to entertain them or make them some kind of money. But if we ask for being autonomously wealthy on our own, being autonomously having our own shit, all of a sudden everybody pitches a bitch. Everybody has a fucking hissy fit. People get mad when we want to. You don't want us in your neighborhood. You don't want us in your schools. You don't want us doing anything. But then when we say, hey, okay, that's cool, because Muhammad Ali said in the 60s, he said, hey, man, I think we should have our own state. I don't want to live amongst you motherfuckers. They were like, well, why not? You don't want us around. You're segregating everything. And then as soon as we want to go, white people start panicking. White people panic. But, you know, we don't want to be around you, so you can call us niggas, and we're tired of white cops shooting us. We're tired of this pissing contest that these white cops have because they're afraid of black dicks for some fucking reason, because most of this shit is black dick envy. We're tired of that shit. So what about this? Why don't we just give us what you owe us, and we can go on and do our own shit?
This is why the right, seemingly so effective in their messaging, seemingly so effective in their politics, because they have one issue. They have one goal. The goal is white supremacy. If everybody on the right is on board that we're working towards white supremacy, then it's very easy to come to agreements about things. Is this in favor of white supremacy, yes or no? If the answer is no, then we don't go. The answer is yes, then we're going to push forward. The left is for humanity and all of its problems. Very hard to come to an agreement on that, ain't it? All these different age gaps, all these different sexual identities, all these different ideologies, and everybody wants theirs to be first. Then you got to siphon through which of those groups of black Americans and other people of color fall on the right or the left. You'd be surprised how many fall on the right, even those of us that are black Americans. We talk about the 92%, we talk about the 80%, 28% on that right. And why? We have to understand that these people have binary thinking, so I'm going to be binary about it. The right is the party of white supremacy. The end goal is white supremacy. That's the way I see it. Conservatism, Christian values, white supremacy. The left is for humanity and all of its problems, which is why we can't come to agreement, because everybody wants their problems to be dealt with first. Now, I want to say this. Big problem on the left is that we don't want to address the original sins. The reality is this. Until you do right by the black American, you're not going to be able to do right by anybody, because black Americans have bloodshed, have history of massacres, of lynching, of slavery, of disenfranchisement. We have a history of terrorism being waged against us in this country since we got here. So if we're going to talk about first things first, let's address the first thing. And when you don't address the first thing, and you don't want to address the plight of the black American, the voice that is extremely loud on the left, if you don't want to address that first, and it's going to be all performance, then nothing's going to get done. Because if we have to go first things first, through all of humanity, all of these different identifiers, all of these different races and nationalities that live on the left, and all of their problems, and everybody wants their shit addressed first, then address the first thing first. The black American and their plight. The black American and their fight for reparations as descendants of chattel slavery. Reparations for all of our black towns that was bombed and overrun. Reparations for eminent domain that broke up our neighborhood. Reparations for segregation and Jim Crow. Reparations for the war on drugs. If you don't want to go all the way back, we could just keep moving forward. Repair. The only thing black Americans seek is repair and respect. Everybody got a problem with it when they got to address our issues.